everyone. Myself Balraj. I am a cybersecurity analyst from BCBUZZ technology. Here are my profiles for your look. Let's get in. Before diving into the topic, I am interested in sharing an interesting incident which was happened in 2009. Over 32 million user data has been exposed from the company Rockyu. Some of you can hear that name. It may be quite popular by just a single SQL injection. In that days, there are no nowadays securities. So that may be easy for the hackers to do than that. They just copy the database and later posted it to the internet as a text file. We know they just used that as a raq.q.txt. And it will be a good example for insecure security and how the attackers get into the network. Okay, let's dive into the topic. Our session is going to in the title of network security applications and mechanisms. And the agenda of the meeting is on network security introduction, security goals, network security appliance, security mechanisms, and network-based attack, network vulnerabilities, and some of the live demonstration we can see. Finally, a key takeaway and answer and questioning session. Before diving into the topic, why network security record? First of all, we have to know why network security is important and its purpose. Because then only we have to understand how these mechanisms work and what we have to protect and how we can protect that. First, in the network security, we have to protect sensitive data of the organization, protects the unauthorized users, which leads to data breach, ensure security availability and service availability. Because then only we have to maintain the trust with the clients. Avoid financial and reputational loss because after after if any data breach occurred, the financial and reputation loss will be quite huge, and the total trust will be break. Next, the security goals, which means our CIA trade. First one, confidentiality, um, which means keep it secret, just verifying the identity of the user before accessing the network or resources. It was accomplished by encryption, VPN, and access control. The second is integrity. Keep it, which means keep it accurate, which ensures no one alter the data in the database, which was done by hashing and digital signature. Hashing digital signature, which are we going to talk later in the upcoming slides. And the last one, availability. Keep it working. In other words, the service must be, it guarantees the data are accessible to the authorized user at when they are needed. It was accomplished by taking backups and providing the security features like DDoS protection. Next, network security appliance. What is network security appliance? Network security appliances are dedicated hardware or virtual devices that monitor, filter, and enforce security controls on the network in order to maintain the trust, avoid unauthorized access to users. Further, it was deployed in network parameters, like that outside the network to filter the authorized users only have to allow into the network, and network segmentation Then the network segmentation helps to reduce if any data breaches occurred, it can easily reduce the loss and lost in the data center. Hmm. Firewall. Firewall is an interesting and important concept in our security. It is the first line of defense, which was operated in both layer 3 and layer 4, which are the network and transport layer. It may be in the form of hardware or software device as a security mechanism, which monitor and control incoming and outgoing traffic within and without the network. In technically, it was said as inbound and outbound traffic. Don't worry, we will have a demonstration in the working of firewall. We will see. And the functions of the firewalls are packet filtering. Packet filtering or it examines individual packets and decide whether we have to allow it or not. And second is stateful inspection. Like the packet filtration, the stateful inspection track the state of the active connections and decide whether we have to allow this packet or we have to block the packet. The packet filtering examine an individual packet at once and verify the verify we have to allow or not. But the stateful inspection examine the complete active connections of the packet and then decide if we have to allow or not. And the third one is NAT, Network Address Translator. It helps to hide the internal informations of the user by translating the private IP to public IP while we are browsing on the internet. Just like VPN, it was a kind of security mechanisms which hide the identity of the user. And how the firewall controls traffic. It controls the traffic based on source and destination of the incoming packets and the IP and the port number, and like which port the packets are traveling and in which protocol the packets are traveling. Mm, because um, imagine it when the packets are traveled through the port 80, it was common whenever we are browsing the packets are traveling. It was as usual when happens in the browsing. But in the if the port is SSH is open, it will be made a difficult and easy a vulnerable option to the attacker, and he easily can get unauthorized access. And in the firewall, the default rule is implicit delay. If you have to allow, you can manually configure it. Let's see a quick demonstration and how the firewall works. Mm, Press the Windows tab. You have the search option. There you have search for Windows Defender Firewall. It was an inbuilt firewall in every Windows application. Just a minute. Here you will have this kind of interface. Here you will find what are the informations the firewall have. Just in the left side you have the advanced settings, and just click that. Here you see the inbound outbound rules of the firewall. And it will show the complete mechanisms of the firewall and firewall rules. What are the packets it will be allow, and in the outbound rules, what are the rules we have in default, and we can make any rule. And the third is security rules, connection security rules. And the last one is monitoring. How the firewall monitors what are the states which is mm, here in the right side we can add a new rule and can filters, refresh, expand. Say, let's create a new rule. We just click on the new rule, and this GUI will occur. This GUI will pop up, and here you can select any programs or ports or any predefined things. Maybe you can custom that. I'm going to select the program. Then we have to select the path of the program we going to use in the role. Go just to go to the. I'm going to block my Brave browser. Just going to the default C drive where the usual folders where you can find the program files. Just a minute, it's a network issue. Here you will see the Brave software. Get into that. Here, the Brave extension executable file. Select and open that. After selecting that, click on the next button. Here we have three options: allow all connection, allow the connection if it's secure, block the connection. I'm going to block all the connections. And then all another three options are had. We have domain, private, public. I'm going to select all that, and I'm going to name that as a Brave blocker. Let's finish that. Here you will see that our our created rules has had in the first. Let's check it manually. I just opened my Brave browser and I'm starting search for. Let's search Flipkart. It's the request has been loading. You can see the request not has been reached the server because our firewall has blocked that. Let me search any other. I just searched my company, our company. The request is that the same occurred for the both. Our firewall has blocked the all communication that we are creating in the Brave browser. Mm, let's delete, delete or disable our rule that we have created. I just disabled that, and again I am going to refresh that. Now we can easily access our website because the rule we are created, which was deleted, not deleted, disabled. Even we can delete our rule. Thus, the rule has been deleted. Mm. Not only our rule, we can also access or modify, delete, create other default rules based on the scenarios needs we have. Not only in the inbound we have create, we have the access to the create. In the inbound we can create the rule. So then you have understood how the firewall works and how it blocks the request from our device. Mm, I just demonstrated our I just demonstrated in the default firewall. Not without this, there are some more open source firewall. We can also download it and configure it. Let me. OpenSense. it was a they provide a open source firewall. We can also click the download. We can also download that file and configure that accordingly based on our need. Not only open sense, we also pf sense. They also same like that open sense. The pf sense also provide the firewall, open source firewall for the users. We can easily download it and configure it based on our needs and our own rules. Don't leave it as a default configuration. It may be a security flaw in the future. We have IDS, intrusion detection system. The firewall only act in the parameter of the network, just an outside barrier which inspect the incoming and for outgoing packets. Unlike the firewall, the IDPS, like intrusion detection system, which monitor the network traffic inside the system, which detects any suspicious patterns, and if it find any suspicious patterns, it will quickly send alert to the respective security person, and then they can act accordingly. This IDS operates in the layer 3, layer 4, layer 7 in the OSI security model based on the security design. It was used for both detecting the attack, and also it was used for the log analysis. And it has two types of IDS: network detection system, host-based intrusion detection system. The network-based intrusion detection monitor the network traffic inside the network, and the host-based will just monitor the host activity inside the network. It has some limitations, like it can't block the attack. It's just only able to detect the attack and make the alert. And the alert, the every alert it makes, it was not true. Some of the false positive maybe occur in the IDPS cases. And then IPS, intrusion prevention system. Unlike IDS, intrusion detection system, the intrusion prevention system can able to block the suspicious patterns or suspicious applications or malware applications, but it can't able to detect. It was an inline development. It can be developed inside the network, and it also operated in the layer 3, 4, and 7 of the OSA layer security model. It has capabilities like deep packet inspection, automatic blocking, rate limiting. Rate limiting in the sense it used to mitigate the denial of service. We can talk about the denial of service in the upcoming slides. And the preventions, it can be able to prevent exploit attempts, buffer overflow signatures, and port scans. The IDPS can be integrated with IDS, where they both can work as a single security mechanism, like intrusion detection and prevention system. Like the IDPS will detect the patterns or any malwares, and it sends the alert to the IPS, intrusion prevention system, and the intrusion prevention system, it automatically block the threat or that suspicious matter. And the next was antivirus gateway. The antivirus gateway scan the traffic for malwares before it reaches into our internal devices. Like it scanned HTTP, FTP, and SMTP traffic. SMTP in the sense is a mail transfer protocol. Um, the packets also transfer through this, And in the antivirus gateway analyze the downloaded file. You may be noticed in the Chrome. If we download any stuff, the it and the file can't be saved in our internal device. So these are the security mechanisms performed these kind of activities, and it also blocked infected attachments. Like I said before, it protect internal users, just like the just like a security mechanisms which can avoid unauthorized malwares or any stuffs into coming inside to our internal users. And then proxy servers, some of you maybe heard about this, and evenly some of you not. It was just like a VPN. If we are the clients, we send the request. That request was first sent to the proxy server, and then the proxy server forward that request to the website. So it's like a middle device in order to hide our identity. If any of attacker intercept the traffic between the our communication, they will only notice the proxy server address or proxy server information. Our identity will hide permanently. It has two types, forward proxy, reverse proxy. The forward proxy was used by the client, like that. The reverse proxy was used by the server, and they both are doing the same functions like hiding the identity. And the functions of the proxy server are content filtering, caching, and URL blocking based on the based on the request and the response we have taken. The next one is web application firewall. The web application firewall is similar to the firewall, but it was only operated in the layer 7, which protect the web application. Probably it was in the application layer that we have the visible GUI. Mm, some of you may confuse that the normal firewall and a WAF. The normal firewall filters the incoming and outgoing packets based on the IP port and protocol. But in the web application firewall, it inspects the HTTP contents in the data and or maybe a request response. It just inspect the HTTP contents and plan accordingly based on the rules we have provided. It can also filter HTTP because HTTP is a insecure platform for our communication because it was unencrypted. If anyone has interrupted that, they may read our data or modify our data, even delete our data. It can also block the SQL injection, cross-site scripting, local file inclusion. These kind of data can be deleted by the web application firewall. Sorry for it's a bad internet connection. Uh, Next, network access control. The network access control, it's a security mechanism or appliance. It check the uh, health device health based on the access. Just like if any device coming into our network, it will check is that device didn't have malware. It verifies that device installed antivirus or OS updated. Just it scan the other users which they are coming into our network. If they are safe, so then only because they are coming to our network. If they are safe means, and then we also safe. If they have any malware, it will also spread in our network also. The actions it can be performed like allow or deny, like that. If the network, if the device or user which will have strong security feature, they will be allowed inside our network, and if not, they will be blocked. Just before we just saw the security appliance. Just now we have going to dive into the security mechanisms. The first security mechanisms, they are used to provide the network from unauthorized access or attacks and damages. It has a mechanisms like encryption, authentication, authorization, digital signatures. The security mechanisms are the methods and process used to and secure the data and the access control. Let's move on. The first security mechanisms is authentication. Many of you may know that before. The authentication is the process of verifying the identity of the user or device, or it may be a system, before uh, getting services or access to our resources or network. It just in simple words, it's just verifying the user's device before they getting into the network. There are many types of authentication based on the scenarios or security designs. The first one is single single factor authentication. The single factor authentication just verify a single factor, or like a single like just a single password. It just verifies a single password, and it assigns the access to the user, and they can access the network accordingly. And the second one is two-factor authentication. Like that, the single-factor authentication, the two-factor authentication verify the user, like the user ID, password. If the both are verified and correct, then only the user will allow into the network or for the resources to access. And the third is multi-factor authentication. The multi-factor authentication verified like uh, more than two or three security details, like it may be a user ID and password or OTP, like that. And the fourth one is a biometric authentication. It will, you maybe know that like fingerprint or scanning your eye, like that. And the next was token based authentication. The token-based authentication is verified by using a token. It will common in the sense of using API. And next one is a certificate-based authentication. Certificate-based authentication. If a valid user have the valid certificate, he will be allowed inside our network and have the access to the resources based on the need. For example, digital signature. It also a certificate based authentication. And the last, single sign-on. It was a common security mechanism where a user log at once and get access to multiple applications without logged in again. Like example, if we logged in and have a user ID of the Google, we can access to the YouTube, Gmail, and YouTube, Gmail, and like every Google applications, we can use that single user ID and password. It will uses the protocols like Open Authentication 2.0 or Open ID connection. The next one, authorization. Like before we saw authentication that will just verify the identity of the user, but in the authorization it will uh, assign what the user have to access. Like see the example, if a student logged in a college website, he have only access to the to view his attendance, or maybe he can pay his fees. Only a limited amount of resource that he can access. But in the in, in the admin profile, he can access the full system or application, and he can view all students informations, their details, and make an alter or delete other details like that. The authorization just after login, it will assign what resource we have to access, and it has security models like role-based access control. Like the access are assigned based on the role, and second one is attribute-based access control. Attribute in the sense the privileges are like in the horizontal or vertical order. If we are in the in we have if we are in the state, we can access in that state or attribute resources only. And mandatory access control last, the system only assign mandatory access to us, just what like a least privilege, just like a least privilege it follows like a least privilege principle. It assigns only a mandatory access what we can have. And the next, digital signature. The digital signature, it is a cryptographic technique because it used encryption for the data, and it used to verify the authenticity, integrity, and non-repetition of the digital message or document. It also ensures the message is not altered and confirm the sender identity. Like if a sender send a message, he can't deny or anyone can alter that. It can also it uses hashing like secure hash algorithm 256, and also asymmetric encryption. Example, SSL TLS certificates. SSL, which denotes secure socket layer, and TLS represent transport layer security, which are both are encrypted, and they are used in the HTTPS for the secure communication. Next, encryption. The encryption plays a major role, maybe an important role in nowadays security mechanisms, because if anyone tampered our communication, it will be encrypted in the other format, unlike the non-readable format. Even the attacker can't identify what kind of data and what are the information they are sharing. Only the key holder can read the data. The key holder in the sense it was both the sender and receiver. They only have the keys and they only have the access to read the data. So the encryption will use it to tampering the data of a secure communication. There are two types of encryption, which are asymmetric encryption and symmetric encryption. The symmetric encryption used the same key for both encryption and decryption. Since it was used a single key for both encryption and decryption, it was fast compared to that asymmetric encryption. Example for the asymmetric encryption is the AES, Advanced Encryption Standard, and also the DES, Data Encryption Standard. And in the for the asymmetric, it will use two keys, one for encryption and the another one for decryption. It was have better mechanism for the key exchange. It will provide more secure key exchange mechanism, And example for the asymmetric encryption is RSA algorithm. And the encryption used commonly in the HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, secure and VPN on online payments. Mainly, it just encrypt the data, like converting the data in readable format into the unreadable format. If anyone tamper, they can't even read the data. Next, like encryption in the sense of encryption, we have HTTP, HTTPS. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, is doesn't have any encryption algorithm. It only transfer the information in the form of plain text. Just to perform a plain text communication, it was by default it uses only the port 80 for the packets transfer. In the on the other hand, we have HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, secure, which was encrypted and using the security mechanisms like TLS, transport layer security, and have the secure socket layer. By default, it was using the port 443, and we can also change the port and like default configuration based on our need. If the main key difference between the HTTP and HTTPS are HTTPS is more encrypted. If any First of all, anyone can't tamper that, and if they tamper, they can't read the message that we have done in the secure communication. I just show you show you in the browser how HTTP and HTTPS will how to find the HTTP and HTTPS. Mm, just I am going to visit this neverssl.com. Just a minute. Just a minute. It was sending the request to the server. Since it was loaded, we can see another like it. See, that it was traveling. Here you can clearly see it was as HTTPS. In the HTTPS sense, it was encrypted. You can also read. See here in the log symbol, it shows that the connection is secure. We can also here you can identify the certificate. You can manually view the certificate and also can see what the public key, what are the certificate, what the hash algorithm they used for encryption and the valid period. Even though they had mentioned public key certificates and more like more information in the only in the HTTPS. Let me show you how the HTTP work. Here you can clearly see not secure, which means this we are using the platform which in the HTTP protocol which was not secure. And if we transfer any packets, it may be if anyone can tamper, they easily can read that. Let me show you how it be visible. I'm going to use the Wireshark. First, install the Wireshark. Let's just search Wireshark, and you can find their official site. Here you can see in the left side, you download now. You can select the versions according to based on your system and select which location you have to import that like download that. I'm already downloaded that. Just a minute. Like that, you can easily download that. After downloading that, keep installing like you can start install in the GUI when just pressing next, 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 and you can easily install that, and then open that Wireshark. And it will first of all, the Wireshark is the network packet analyzer. Using this, we can easily analyze the network, based on our need. And this will be the initial GUI of the Wireshark. Here you can see the Wi-Fi, Ethernet 3, and some more connections. You can use any interface based on our need. I connected my Wi-Fi on my device with my Wi-Fi. Just select this, and here in the left side top you have this button. It will When you click the button, it will start analyzing the packets, collecting the packets which are coming from and going outside from our device. Then that unsecure side. I'm going to sign in, and just I'm typing my name as a username, and I'm going to provide a secure password, and I'm clicking the login. It failed because I didn't have account in that username and password, so it failed. But it was not our content. Just back to our Wireshark, and just click this button. You can stop the packet which was the Wireshark collecting. In the bottom, you can see it in the just a minute. It was over collected 12,000 packets. Just some more minutes. Using this tab, you can filter and identify the packet based on our need. I'm going to search HTTP because I done that request in that protocol, and request, and I'm going to filter even the method. I just used that post method, and hit the enter. It was easily filtered my packet. Here you can see all about that packet or and the request. Even we can't even see that information even in the browser. We can deeply analyze that request in here. In which protocol that the packet has been transferred, it used TCP or UDP, and what the timestamp. All the information, even the security header, all of the information has been here. Here you can easily, it will be visible, my username and my strong password. It's not a strong password, I just saying. And in this side, you can also analyze the bits. It was helpful in the sense of reverse engineering. Like this, we can easily capture the packet from the browser and analyze that request deeply, and we can also create a output format based on our need. It will be like Wireshark may it's a fundamental tool for a security person. And then back to our topic. Then you have we just demonstrated that both. And then network attacks. In the previous slides, we have saw the security appliance and security mechanisms, but now we are going to see about the network attacks. Initially, a network attacks, in the sense it can be attempted by an unauthorized user to gain access to or disturb the network or modify the data or steal the data from the computer network. The goal of the attacker is to steal sensitive information, this, like that we discussed in that. And the common types of network attacks are man in the middle attack, denial of service, SQL injection, phishing. We will see the each of the attack in the upcoming slide. First one, denial of service. Denial of service. We already saw that goals are the initial goals CIA tried, and there will be availability which will ensure that data will be available for the authorized user at any time when they are needed. For that, the distributed denial of service will making the service or resources unreachable to the users when they are needed. It will make a UDP or synchronized flood on the based on the in the form of request and make the service unavailable. It will also break the trust or financial or even can leads to stealing the data. In the distributed log service, the server became slow or even has been crashed. If we didn't take the backup, it will be a major problem for that company or system. I will tell you a relevant example. We definitely we have checked our results in the schools or college. In the time of the result has was published, that site was unreachable due to many of the people will access the same website at the same time. Due to it will have make a flood which will make the service unavailable. You can get it. I think you can get it, and it can be mitigated like using rate limiting, load balancing. Rate limiting is the only a limited number of users and we all can be allowed to access the service or data at a time. Because of that, the availability will stay there. And the next, man in the middle attacks. It was a common in the 2010s and past, and now also it was a common thing. It will create a high data steal or someone hears our data. The attacker can easily intercept our secure communication between the sender and receiver, like two parties, and the attacker can monitor or can easily modify the data. As I mentioned, an attacker secretly intercept and possibly attack the communication between the two parties, like the sender and receiver, who believe they are directly communicated with her, because the two parties didn't know if the attacker is there or not. They're just continuing their communication. And this man in the middle attack can be prevented by using the like HTTPS. Like that we saw in the HTTPS is encrypted. Even the attacker intercept, he can't able to read the data. And using end-to-end encryption, like the mechanisms in the WhatsApp, it will use end-to-end encryption and VPNs, which hide the identity of the user, and proper certificate validation. And the last, phishing. The phishing it involves trick the users into revealing sensitive informations like sensitive informations in the sense it may be a password or OTP or credential like for the login. It has many types. As like I mentioned, it has some common methods like email phishing. Many of you heard about that email phishing. The like we are receiving the spam mails like you have won some more someone some prizes. click the link to click the click, click the link to claim it, like that. The phishing tricks are happened in the in the email, and some of them will fall for that who didn't doesn't have the awareness. And the next is spear phishing. like the attacker can communicate with the employee like an innocent and revealing the sensitive information from the employee about the company, and uses this information as a key to enter into the company. And that's all the spear phishing. And smishing, like that, we have already talked about the email phishing. The smishing is involved in the SMS, like in the SMS message the attacker sends a message which the user can fall for that, and he can gain the sensitive information. And then phishing in the sense, the attacker can directly call to the user. Using that call, he can just I'm from your bank, I need the OTP for the verification, like that. He is just making some tricks in the call. Mm. And nowadays yeah, yeah, method newly introduced, like phishing. Using the QR code, the attacker can gather some sensitive information without the user knowledge. And in the example, I already said to you that fake fake bank. We are from your bank, and they ask for the OTP, or they may can ask for the sensitive data like locker number, password. And then malware are malicious applications. If we infected from the malware, it can be automatically start the work which the attacker can assign. The malware is it has a huge category like virus, worms, trojans, ransomware, spyware, and some of them are more popular. Like the virus may can slow down your computers. The ransomware, if the attacker infected the ransomware in your system, the all data in your system were encrypted, and the attacker only he knows the key. He will he will ask money or any other stuffs to decrypt or release the data. And spyware in the sense, it may be a keylogger. Keyloggers are the quite popular. Keylogger may can track the keys of the user and send it to the attacker. Not only is keylogger only on the spyware, also the watch hacking the camera. Some more like spy, they were on monitoring our data and send back to the attacker, and the attacker used that accordingly. It can be spread. The malwares are spread by email attachment, infected downloads, or even in the it comes common in the USB devices. Or just before, awareness has published don't use public public charging ports, maybe because it will have the malwares. And the SQL injection is just injecting the SQL queries in the database by the input fields in the system. The database can reveal the data which the attacker have. And it will the impact of the SQL injection will lead to database data leak or authentication bypass. Some of you have heard the may know in the in the authentication, like a user ID password, they will use as a SQL injection. It was a quite popular method the attacker can use. And the SQL injection can be prevented by using the input sanitization, and web application firewall. Input validation, which just check the input the user which had the input, the type, which type the input was, and verify the record input type. If the both are match, the system will allow the input. And the second is sanitization. Sanitization is the removing the harmful characters which the attacker inserted. It can easily, if, with the sanitization, and we can easily remove the remove the malicious contents in the queries, and without that we can be safely process that. And web application firewall, which monitors the incoming and outgoing traffics in the application layer, and easily it can easily block the request or response. And it's time for the vulnerabilities in the network. And they are the common vulnerabilities which are frequently repeated in the attacks, like weak passwords, outdated software which are not updated, and open unused ports. Like that I said before, the if the port SSH is open, it will lead to huge damage. Like the attacker easily have the access into our system, like that. And then no firewall, default admin credential, like admin password 123, like that. And the next, misconfigurations. Misconfigurations are improperly configured. Not only the security mechanisms have to implemented or installed, it have to configured properly based on our need. The improper configured will lead to expose of unauthorized access or attacks. Some of the common examples for the misconfiguration, like using default user ID password, open ports, and unnecessary service, unpatched or outdated software, public access to sensitive files may are visible publicly, incorrect firewall, and the rules we have provided what was not in the proper syntax or not properly configured, it will leads to misconfiguration. Some of you may get confused, vulnerabilities and misconfiguration. They both are act in the different scenarios. If you watch closely, you may can get the difference. And the last, we are in the final key takeaways. In the key takeaways, we have already discussed about the network security importance and the security goals, like the CAA tried, security appliance, firewalls, IDS, and some of the security mechanisms like encryption, authentication, authorization, and the common network attacks like man in the middle attack and SQL injection and some more, and some of the network vulnerabilities and misconfigurations. So that's all the today session. If you have any doubts or any clarities, you may ask me clearly. You can also you may leave your question in the comments. And here's our website. You can There was a free many resources you can use that to increase your knowledge. They are every resources are free in our platform. You can use that to based on your purpose. And here our WhatsApp group. You can also connected with us for the upcoming sessions or any upcoming sessions, or it may be upcoming classes. Finally, thank you.